These are the men and women of Beaver Valley, the bravest of the brave. They fought fearlessly for their country, their city, their community, and for the ideals we share as Americans. They served proudly in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Here now are their stories, their own experiences in their own words, the words of the heroes of Beaver Valley. When Sewickley resident Walter Reddy turned 17, he enlisted in the Army Air Corps. By November 1943, when Reddy was 18, he was called to start his training, and thus he entered into World War II.
The advantage to enlisting at 17, you could choose the branch that you wanted to be in, and I wanted to fly. I joined the Army Air Corps, and when I was 18, why, they called me.
The Army Air Corps sent Reddy to train in multiple different locations throughout the United States, one of which was Miami Beach.
The Army Air Corps in those days had taken over Miami Beach because of all the hotels. They didn't have to build barracks, so we just lived in hotels. And we were there we learned to march and so on, and all the tests we got.
Reddy had always wanted to fly planes, and he started to train for it in Arizona. But as the goals of the war effort changed, he was sent to Tampa and trained as a radio operator. In Tampa, he met the other men in his crew who would fly with him throughout the war.
I was a radio operator and a gunner. I served as a gunner. Everybody on the plane had another job to do except the pilots. But every man had a job. So, and you had to do your job, because the other guys, I mean, you'd all die. We'd go down if you didn't do your job. So you had to know what you were doing, and you had to pay attention to what you were doing.
As part of the 8th Air Force Division, 457th Bomb Group, Reddy flew 20 missions in a B-17 with the goal of bombing German military locations.
Our missions usually would start, they would get us out of our bunks at 4 in the morning, and we would return, because the missions were longer, going deeper into Germany. We would get back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it became a 12-hour mission when you had briefing and so on. So we came under fire many, many times. In one episode, I think we took a hit in one of the engines, and it damaged the engine, so the propeller was just slowly, the engine had stopped, and the wind pressure would make the propeller slowly turn, which was called windmilling, like a windmill. And eventually it shook, that propeller windmilling shook the housing, the mounting, and the propeller fell off and hit the engine, hit the propeller of the engine right beside it. And the two engines, the propellers were in pieces, and some of the pieces passed under our aircraft, and we had underneath what was known as a ball turret, and it cut that ball turret right in half. Fortunately, the man who flew in that, the gunner in that, had just climbed out of it.
Reddy and his fellow crew members worked hard to support the Allies' war effort. Their bombing missions were vastly different than the German Air Force's tactics.
The Nazis had bombed England, and what we did, I remember somebody asking me a few years ago, and not somebody like yourself, a reporter or someone, saying, well, tell me, what was it like to kill people? And my answer, and it was a truthful answer to the best of my knowledge, we bombed military targets. You know, as I said, where they would store ammunition, where they stored fuel. Even when they were bringing out the jets, we bombed their jet fields. And because we wanted the war to end. But the Nazis, they bombed cities with people. And